Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Orthodox Venture with Boyan, and today we will see or attempt to see what makes one Christian side with Satanists when they go after a different kind of Christians. I'm the Boyan in question, and I hope to answer questions that you might have on Eastern Orthodox spirituality or practice, but I also make like variety videos on this channel. I also have a main channel called Bible Illustrated. And if you were edified and or entertained by these sort of videos, please consider pledging on one of the many crowdsourcing platforms in the description, because they really help me out. They show these videos, biblical drawings, paintings, and so on. So the person in question is called Lizzie. She's an evangelical Christian. I believe she's from United States. And no, this is no call to be for her to be harassed, annoyed, or anything. But one might beg to wonder why on earth she often acts the way she does. So, recently some painter or illustrator drew a portrait of her, and it was a very good portrait and everything. But the artist in question was like, oh wow, I was not aware that Lizzie has so many enemies, and it's not surprising why. The One of the major issues Lizzie suffers from is her rabid anti-Catholicism, and this rabid anti-Catholicism paints a lot of her interactions she has with other Christians. She will say that Mary is just another woman, she's just a sinner, even though notably Christ did not choose just a sinner Lizzie to be the mother of God. He specifically chose this one woman out of billions of women named Mary to be his mother. So Mary's never just I want to emphasize that. A couple of years ago, there was a black mass being planned in front of a city hall of whatever state. I can't remember. I didn't Google it, and it's not really important. They supposedly obtained a consecrated host to be desecrated in this black mass, and this satanic priest or whatever, he held up that host, and he was sprouting nonsense, well, as you know, as black masses go. And this brave soul, God bless him, sort of jumped the priest, took his host. It's not his host to begin with. He snatched the host and consumed it. And Lizzie had a comment saying, imagine this is what people think Christianity is. I really want you to think about this and let that sink in. You have literal Satanists, and I don't mean just like, well, they provide abortions, so you can sort of, make a conjecture that they're Satanists. No, they're literal Satanists who are doing a literal black mass. And even if you do not share the Eucharistic theology of the Roman Catholic Church, it's clear that they're intending to blaspheme Christ, and then you go after the brave Christian who dared to, go into this horrible travesty and try to save the Eucharistic species. I am at a loss what makes people act like this. On my main channel, I made a video years ago called The Gloater of Notre Dame. In that video, I sort of attacked these people who were at first gloating, or I don't want to say it best, but that were neutral about the burning of the Cathedral of Notre Dame. Because, and I was speaking mostly of Orthodox Christians here, that they were like, well, it's an unorthodox church. My point was, it may be so, still, it is a wonder of the world. It is an exceptionally beautiful building. It houses many valuable Christian relics. And even if you believe that Catholicism is this big evil heretical organization, for a billion people out there, it provides some sort of access to Christ. It might not be ideal in the sense of fullness of Orthodox faith, but it still provides something. And in this increasingly crazy, evil, secular, atheistic, insane world, even that something is becoming increasingly more important. That was one thing. Second thing is, I honestly believe that that fire was planted, and you can Google church burning in France. It's simply crazy. Like, churches in general don't simply flare up all that easily, all that much, all that often, you know. And whoever burned these churches would just as easily burn an Orthodox church or the church of your own preferred denomination. During that Black Mass, they desecrated a consecrated host. Lizzie, if you're watching this, be aware that they would be just as likely to desecrate a Bible. And if you're saying, well, it's just a Bible, I commend your consistency, Lizzie, but still, it is a book that still represents God. And it's blasphemous to act that way through something that symbolizes Him. Whether it's a Bible, whether it's a host, and again, regardless of what you believe of the Eucharistic theology, you know, even evangelicals believe that there is some spiritual reality behind the Eucharist. It may not be real presence, but there is still something. And, you know, to try to desecrate that in the name of Satan, well, who are you rooting for? You know, I believe that there are proper times and proper venues for religious debates. Black Mass is not such an event. You know, when bombs are, for example, falling around you, you do not discuss filioque. You don't, you know, discuss the meanings of the real presence and transubstantiation and so on. No, you're trying to get by. This is similar. At the very least, when we are facing literal Satanists, I say that every person of goodwill, regardless of their religion or even lack thereof, is a friend of ours. You know, if an atheist or a Buddhist says that shouldn't be done, they're a friend, you know, and they should be commended for their stance, even if they're not, you know, not even Christian to begin with, you know, whether evangelical, Lutheran, Catholic, Orthodox, what have you, you know. People who want to blaspheme will generally, they don't make a whole lot of distinctions between different religious groups that they tend to see as one body. Well, do you think that they would have a better opinion of an evangelical like church, like if they desecrated and drew pentagrams or satanic inscriptions, demonic names? Like if you enter such a church, would you be like, silly Satanists? No, you wouldn't. You would be like, you know, shocked. You would show proper disdain for the beings that so utterly hate God. And these beings sadly influenced a group of people to blaspheme, you know? So there's that. I do hope that Lizzie sees the error of these ways, and as I said, her anti-Catholicism really, you know, it really pushes her to write these inflammatory posts. I know that it's Twitter and demons work overtime on Twitter, and I know that if you make inflammatory posts, you will get a whole lot more reach and you will actually earn money. I'm not saying that that's her like motivation. I'm not the knower of hearts. I'm not God, nor am I clairvoyant. But still, it could be one of the motivations. By the way, speaking of clairvoyance, I've heard reports of this clairvoyant person that was getting a surgery in one of the Serbian hospitals, and like he could see it all. He actually influenced a friend of a friend to attend church regularly, and that friend of a friend never actually met the guy, but her aunt met him, and he knew all about her. To be quite honest, I was sort of worried, like, if this was demonic, but you know, I do not think that demons would tell somebody who's not a churchgoer to start attending church regularly. Maybe do something little, you know, to cover up their evil, like, oh, light a candle, or like one-off event that won't stick. Okay, that I'm very suspicious of. But like, go and start attending church and have prayers read over you for your health. No, that's much more serious. So yeah, I just wanted to share. There are true clairvoyants among us. So yeah, see ya.